An audio recording of My Neighbors in a Foreign Place by Lydia Davis from 2009. Directly across the courtyard from me lives a middle-aged woman, the ringleader of the building. Sometimes she and I open our windows simultaneously and look at each other for an instant in shocked surprise. When this happens, one of us looks up at the sky as though to see what the weather is going to be, while the other looks down at the courtyard as though watching for late visitors. Each is really trying to avoid the glance of the other. Then we move back from the windows to wait for a better moment. Sometimes, however, neither of us is willing to retreat. We lower our eyes and for minutes on end remain standing there, almost close enough to hear each other breathing. I prune the plants in my window box as though I were alone in the world, and she, with the same air of preoccupation, pinches the tomatoes that sit in a row on her windowsill and untangles a sprig of parsley from the bunch that stands yellowing in a jar of water. We are both so quiet that the scratching and fluttering of pigeons in the eaves above seem very loud. Our hands tremble, and that is the only sign that we are aware of each other. I know that my neighbor leads an utterly blameless life. She is orderly, consistent, and regular in her habits. Nothing she does would set her apart from any other woman in the building. I have observed her, and I know this is true. She rises early, for example, and airs her bedroom. Then, through the half-open shutters, I see what looks like a large white bird diving and soaring in the darkness of her room. And I know it is the quilt that she is throwing over her bed. Late in the morning, her strong, pale forearm flashes out of the living room window several times and gives a shake to a clean dust rag. She takes vegetables from her windowsill at noon, and soon after I smell a meal being cooked. At 2 o'clock, she pins a dishcloth to the short line outside her kitchen window, and at dusk, she closes all the shutters. Every second Sunday, she has visitors in the afternoon. This much I know, and the rest is not hard to imagine. I myself am not at all like her or like anyone else in the building, even though I make persistent efforts to follow their pattern and gain respect. My windows are not clean, and a lacy border of soot has gathered on my windowsill. I finish my washing late in the morning and hang it out just before a midday rainstorm breaks, when my neighbor's wash has long since been folded and put away. At nightfall, when I heard the clattering and banging of the shutters on all sides, I cannot bear to close my own, even though I think I should, and instead leave them open to catch the last of the daylight. I disturb the man and the woman below me because I walk without pause over my creaking floorboards at midnight when everyone else is asleep, and I do not carry my pail of garbage down to the courtyard until late at night when the cans are full. Then I look up and see the house front shuttered and bolted as if against my invasion, and only a few lights burning in the houses next door. I am very much afraid that by now the woman opposite has observed all these things about me, has formed a notion of me that is not at all favorable, and is about to take action with her many friends in the building. Already I have seen them gather in the hallway and have heard their vehement whispers echoing through the stairwell, where they stop every morning on their way in from shopping to lean on the banisters and rest. Already they glance at me with open dislike and suspicion in their eyes, and any day now they will circulate a petition against me, as my neighbors have done in every building I have ever lived in. Then I will once again have to look for another place to live and take something worse than what I now have and in a different neighborhood, just as to leave as quickly as possible. I will have to inform the landlord, who will pretend to know nothing about the activity of my neighbors, but who must know what goes on in his building, must have received and read the petition. I will have to pack my belongings into boxes once again and hire a van for the day of departure. And as I carry box after box down to the waiting van, as I struggle to open each of the many doors between this apartment and the street, taking care not to scratch the woodwork or break the glass panes, my neighbors will appear one by one to see me off, as they always have. They smile and hold the doors for me. They offer to carry my boxes and show a genuinely kind interest in me, as though all along, given the slightest excuse, they would have liked to be my friends. But at this point, things have gone too far, and I cannot turn back, though I would like to. My neighbors would not understand why I had done it, and the wall of hatred would rise between us again. But sometimes, when this building with its bitter atmosphere becomes too oppressive for me to bear it any longer, I go outside into the city and wander back to the houses I used to live in. I stand in the sun talking to my old neighbors, and I find comfort and relief in their warm welcome. My Neighbors in a Foreign Place by Lydia Davis.